YouTube, good morning. It's Mike here and I'm back with another video. And today, our gardening season is over. And it's only September, but I'll explain why. Typically in September, we're getting ready to plant our fall crops like brassicas, broccolis, things like that. But this year, we're not doing that. And the reason is because we're going away. We're taking a little bit of a vacation and we're really not gonna be around in much of September into October, which is generally the time that the fall crop, the fall plantings is happening. This year's just not gonna happen. So what we're doing today is cleaning out the garden beds. Now there's a lot of things to be harvested and right now the plants are really pumping. They're really giving out a ton of produce and we've eaten a lot of produce this summer, guys. But like all good things, it has to come to an end. And when it comes to an end, I like to clean things up and make things really, really tidy so that when I come back from vacation, I don't have a lot of chores to do and the garden isn't even more overgrown than what it looks like right now. So let's get right into cleaning these garden beds out and I'll show you guys what I like to do with the spent garden plants, or the plants that are no longer producing like they should, and how I cycle them into nutrients for next season. So stick around to the end and I'll show you guys how I do that. But I do want to make one note before we get started. I like to leave the root system in the soil. I practice no-till, especially on a smaller scale. I think it's a lot of fun in garden beds. And what I like to do is use a pair of pruners and I just cut the plant right at the root system so that the roots are not disturbed and the soil in there is not disturbed. And that root system will decompose in the soil and allow all the microbiology, including the worms and bugs and little creepy crawlies, to eat throughout the winter. So we're giving them a food source from our food source. Look at this celery, guys. Holy cow, this is a great piece of celery. You know, you could pay a couple dollars for this at the grocery store. You can grow it yourself, but I'll tell you, if you do decide to grow it yourself, it tastes so much better, guys. Give it a try. All right, so now we can see the border of the garden again, which is a great thing. We really cleaned out a lot of that spent garden material and we harvested a ton of peppers. I knew I planted a lot of peppers in this bed, but I didn't realize how many peppers we were gonna get. Now granted, we did harvest peppers all summer, here and there for a recipe that we were making, or if we had friends over, we'd send them off with some peppers. To focus on this garden bed, it does look pretty messy right now. We're not gonna just leave it like this. What I'm gonna plan on doing is covering this up, making sure that it's all the high plant matter that's left in the bed is cut down low, left in the bed to decompose and feed the microbes. And then I'm gonna cover this over with some good alfalfa straw. Before we move on to the next step though, we have a whole nother garden bed to harvest and clean up so we can do both beds together. All right, much better. So we have the second bed all cleared out, same state as the first one. And now we could look at the tomato bed here, which is kind of a mess. So I'm not going to completely remove all of the tomatoes. like tomato plants out, because these are still producing really, really well, and they will produce all the way into the first frost, probably in November. So I don't want to get rid of these, because when we get back from vacation, we're going to have a lot more tomatoes to harvest, and we just love tomatoes. So I'm going to clean it up today. I'm going to just kind of manicure it, make sure that it's ready to grow again in the month that we're going to be absent. And when we get back, we'll probably clean it up another time. So let's get into just trimming this baby up. All right, that's looking much better. So the next step here is we're going to be covering this with a mulch. Now, the mulch that I like to use is alfalfa, and there's a reason for that. Alfalfa contains protozoa, which is a bacteria that basically eats other bacteria, and it helps cycle nutrition a little bit quicker. What I like to do is add a thick layer of alfalfa to kind of cover the soil and insulate it from the winters that are coming ahead. It also allows the earthworms and the biology to come up right to the surface level and help decompose all of this litter and leftover remains and the root systems of what was growing in it as the garden. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna move that stuff in, and I'll show you how I do that. All right, so as you can see, all that garden material made a great pile for compost in the chicken coop. And as you can see, they absolutely love it. This is gonna be doing a couple things for us. One, it's gonna be adding or giving us a great start to our compost season that comes in the fall here. Now, what it's doing right now, while it's still green and pretty fresh, is it's gonna be supplementing the chicken's diet and giving us super healthy eggs, which we just love. I'll be working it with a pitchfork, the chickens will be helping me out, and we'll all have a lot of fun doing it. So let's get back out to the garden. All right, guys, that's the end of the video here. We got the job done and we did it right, and I'm very happy with that. If you guys like this video, I know it's a little early to close up your gardens, but it might be a good time for you guys to start thinking about it. And you could definitely start thinking about giving me the thumbs up, because this is the time to do it, especially if you stayed this late in the video. I appreciate that. Give me the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, don't forget to do that, and then I will catch you guys in the next video. So see you then.